a leading neurological surgeon wearing branded watches with high prices, living in a $1 million mansion, driving a Lamborghini supercar. The fortune he has so much money thanks to these hands, the hands that all medical circles wish to have. A patient was shot in the head in an extremely critical condition. He just played a song, joked with his colleagues, and gently picked the bullets out easily. The whole surgery process only took a song's time. His name, Stephen Strange, relies on only a pair of hands that are famous in medicine. But a serious accident would cause him to say goodbye to his career. Shortly thereafter, Strange woke up in the hospital, looking at his hands full of metal pins in front of him. What did Strange realize? He could not hold the surgical knife anymore. Half a year after the accident, he put all his money into countless surgeries, but they were in vain. Strange also deteriorated extremely, even often getting angry with his girlfriend. Seeing him spiraling out of control, the assistant showed him a recovery report. This patient was diagnosed with a spinal injury that year. Thinking that he would sit in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, he could now freely run on the football field. Strange went to find him and asked him about the miraculous healing method. He went to a place called Kamartaj, where the saints exist with spiritual magic. Hearing there was still hope, Strange immediately got in the car to Kamartaj, and once there, he hoped for help. With the help of his dollars, he met the Ancient One. He thought that the old man had some special method. No doubt she told him, just by possessing intense will, his hands would recover. But these words made Strange, who believes in science, gradually lose his mind. The Ancient One immediately struck him with her hand. Strange returned to his body and felt that she had humbled him. So the Ancient One taught him a lesson. After returning from another dimension, Strange was completely conquered by the Ancient One. He begged her to teach him magic, but she threw him out. In fact, the Ancient One did not want to teach magic to him. Of course, she saw Strange's innate talent, but she was really scared. And a few days ago, her former disciple, Kaecilius, who dedicated himself to guarding the library, stole 2 pages from Cagliostro's book. The Ancient One hurriedly chased after, but after a fight, Kaecilius escaped through a dimensional portal. Mordo states that Strange has a natural talent. Just teach him a bit, saying he can defeat Kaecilius, helping Kamartaj overcome this incident. The Ancient One hesitated for a long time, then opened the door for Strange. But during training, other disciples are more or less conjuring the dimensional portal, and Strange could not conjure anything. Because to stimulate Strange's potential, the Ancient One led him to the top of Mount Everest and left. In this extremely cold space, ordinary people could not bear more than 10 minutes. Strange, wearing only a sleeveless shirt, was freezing. Time passed minute by minute. Mordo was a bit worried. At this time, a golden circle appeared. Strange seemed to have done it. He began to regain confidence, cutting his hair and long beard. That confident man was back. After grasping magic, Strange was able to take and read all the books in the library. He could even project his soul and use the soul to read. Gradually, he was able to use magic as weapons. On a rainy night, Strange pressed his luck when the librarian wasn't there and took the book of Cagliostro to read. Then he followed the mantra in it, using his hands to form seals. He opened the Eye of Agamotto. Strange conjured time seals, next immediately placed the seal on his hand, aiming at an apple. At this time, he had a sudden thought. He flipped to the page that was torn away, trying to restore the 2 pages Kaecilius took away. But not even looking, the space had already become paradoxical. Wong and the Ancient One promptly chased to it. Wong immediately scolded him. Because arbitrary use of magic, a little carelessness would trap him permanently within time. Next, the magician Wong explained to Strange. Thousands of years ago, the ultimate magician Agamotto created 3 sanctums, respectively, in New York, London, and Hong Kong. The 3 sanctums form a protective shield. The darkness oppresses the dark dimension within it. But Dormammu wanted to destroy the sanctums to swallow the whole universe. Just then, Kaecilius led an attack on the London sanctum. Strange was also blown into the New York sanctum. Kaecilius eliminated the guards here. Then, looking towards Strange, Strange hurriedly performed magic as a weapon, deploying spells against 2 of Kaecilius's followers. But 2 hands were hard-pressed against 4 hands. Strange immediately took the opportunity to run away. Kaecilius at the back knit 2 hands. During a lull, Strange started running on the spot. Kaecilius took advantage of his superior magic to play with him, but Strange was not weak either. After a brief falling moment, he kicked one follower out and then knocked another into the tropical rainforest. By the time of fighting solo one-on-one, Strange was knocked down by Kaecilius. Suddenly, the cloak of levitation in the sanctum saved him. Dr. Strange was born. At the key moment, the cloak instructed him to take the iron weapon on the wall and use it to dazzle Kaecilius. Kaecilius was immediately suppressed. He changed to mouth tactics, constantly brainwashing Strange. At the same time, he told him the Ancient One secretly absorbed power from the dark dimension to have a permanent life. But Strange automatically chose to believe in the Ancient One. Suddenly, a long sword pierced Kaecilius's chest. Strange rolled down the stairs. In danger, facing Kaecilius, Strange took the sling ring, opened a portal to the hospital, where he worked. Dr. Palmer hurriedly helped him into the operating room, putting him on the operating table. Strange suddenly expelled his soul, threatening his body was very low. Plug in a little more. At this time, Kaecilius's subordinates were closing in tightly. 2 people fighting together, no one would yield. Finally, Strange provoked Kaecilius's mind, defeating the opponent. Wait until Strange returned, Kaecilius was gone. The Ancient One appeared. Strange immediately asked her, did she absorb the energy from the Dark Dimension? The Ancient One did not explain, but turned to leave the sanctum. As a loyal disciple of the Ancient One, Mordo did not believe she did this, so he argued with Strange. Right now, Kaecilius's followers were preparing to destroy the sanctum. During the ritual, they released magic. Strange deployed magic to protect the sanctum. Kaecilius did not panic, using his hands to split the sanctum into two. The two magicians followed them out, but the outer space was torn. Two people jumped on the building wall. Strange draws the time portal. Kaecilius hit him down. The building suddenly rippled like a wave. Facing this powerful magic, the whole city was distorted. Very quickly, Kaecilius pressed Strange on the ground and warped reality, making all the architecture suddenly turn upside down. Right now, the Ancient One appeared. She is the most visually stunning character in the Marvel movie universe. Each spell effect cost millions of dollars. The Ancient One spread her hand into a fan shape. The traces of seals between dimensions appeared. Kaecilius in a short period could not counter this. She absorbed energy from the Dark Dimension. But the Ancient One had not yet explained it. Her hands turned into a shield, taking one strike. At the moment of her power, Kaecilius turned the sword. The shards of reality simultaneously pierced the Ancient One. Then again a kick kicked her through a portal. Strange and Mordo hurriedly rushed to save her, but were still a step slow. The Ancient One was beaten down onto the building. When he arrived at the hospital, the Ancient One's heart was no longer beating. But she suddenly expelled her soul. Strange also followed her. To the terrace, the Ancient One told him that she did not want to absorb the energy of the Dark Dimension. But because of protecting peace, she had to raise her magic power in this way. Up to now, under her magic, Strange's existence had appeared. Seeing Strange, she immediately understood that it was time for her burden to lessen. At the same time, she also reminded him, only breaking the rules could beat Dormammu. After saying these words, she disappeared. At this time, Strange was aware of the responsibility of rescuing the world that was putting heavily on his shoulder. In another development, Kaecilius's crowd passed through the portal. The last station was Hong Kong. Under the guidance of Strange, Mordo also awakened. Wait until the two of them chased, the Hong Kong sanctum had collapsed. The dark dimension of Dormammu is gradually covering all sides. Kaecilius did not directly rush towards Strange. He used his hands to seal, opening the Eye of Agamotto, deploying the magic to reverse time. In a moment, time stopped as if frozen. Strange moved the seal. Everything around began to reverse. But maintaining this great magic was hard for Strange. Kaecilius escaped from the bonds, punching hard in his face. While the two of them went out, Mordo released the rope from behind, binding Kaecilius against the wall. Seeing the sanctum is about to be restored, Kaecilius escaped from the wall, then struck the ground, destroying the time seal. Time stopped. Space and surrounding time are all in a state of stopping. Kaecilius flew up. Strange also stood up and flew into the dark dimension. At the same time, deploy the time loop seal. Seeing Dormammu, Strange told him that he came to discuss conditions. But Dormammu did not want to waste words, spraying a beam causing Strange to disappear. But a second later, Strange appeared again. Also said a similar sentence, causing Dormammu with a bit of hesitation, but still stabbing Strange in an instant. Fortunately, thanks to the time loop, he just returned and said to Dormammu, "If there is no deal, the two will meet with each other in the infinite cycle." But what welcomed him was still Dormammu's massacre. After each return, each murder, experiencing countless loop times, finally Dormammu relented. Because to get rid of here, it could only agree with Strange, leading its followers to leave the planet. After Strange returned, Kaecilius was also sucked into the dark dimension, being cast into hell, forever following Dormammu. Next, Strange started the time seal. The sanctum recovered its original form. Time restored to the original state, like everything that had never happened. Strange became a superhero. Returning to the sanctum, he put the Eye of Agamotto in its original position. At the same time, he swore forever not to wear it again, because wearing it again, the globe may face greater danger. In another dimension, Strange led a little girl away from a monster. Strange launched a spell freezing the monster's head temporarily, trying to run to the Book of Vishanti. But Wong could not hold the monster for long. Immediately it chased two people, releasing a sword penetrating Strange's legs. This is a multiversal monster. As long as it absorbs her, the universe will be destroyed. Strange tried to use his seals, but his body was injured, so he couldn't maintain it long. Very quickly, the monster broke the seal. At this time, suddenly Strange's face changed. Immediately he turned to kill her. He would rather kill her than let the monster capture her. Unfortunately, the monster took one step ahead. Seeing that, America tried to run to the Book of Vishanti. It is the only thing that can kill this monster. Unexpectedly, the monster still caught her. The girl feared released energy, opening a star-shaped portal. Strange took the opportunity to try to save her through the portal. But it was all an incident in another universe. And in the current Earth, Strange is single. Today, he must attend the wedding of his old lover, Christine, the person he should have just confessed to the previous day. She agreed. This is still the endless regret of Strange. At this moment, the street suddenly had an incident. Strange immediately took off his jacket. Suddenly, he saw her in a dream running into a bus. He used a spell allowing monsters to show their original form. It was a huge super octopus monster. Strange quickly cut off the monster's tentacle and then used his jacket to save her. The monster also immediately returned the attack, forcing him to cut the car in half. But before he could complete his spell, he was flung into a corner. The girl now only had to run away. At the same time, Octopus caught the girl. Wong promptly rescued her, trying to use magic bands to hold it. But soon the octopus broke free. It frantically chased her. At the end of the alley, Wong promptly grabbed the little girl. The octopus threw a motorbike that made her fall. At the same time, Strange woke up, launching a magic band to rescue Wong. But the strength of the two of them could not hold the octopus. It even was prepared to eat her raw. At the right time, the cloak flew to cover its eyes. Strange conjured spectral hands, grabbed a lamppost throwing directly into the monster's eye, successfully impaling the monster octopus. Through her story, the two newcomers knew America was able to travel between universes. That made demons want to take that ability of hers. Shortly thereafter, America led Strange to meet a dead version of himself in another universe. It turned out that when someone dreamed of something, it was their version in another universe who was doing it. But they still do not know who the one who wants to capture the girl is. Strange just temporarily stored her on the roof. Shortly thereafter, he went to Wanda the Scarlet Witch to ask if she knew who was trying to destroy the multiverse. But he did not expect that the one behind the monsters was Wanda. Shortly thereafter, Wanda flicked his hand. The surrounding scenery returns to reality. It turned out that Wanda accidentally learned the spells in the Darkhold. The book gives her strength, but also turns her into a bad guy. It turned out that Wanda still dreamed of children, but her version in another universe has them, so she wants to travel across space to take those children. She forced Strange to give her America. Strange quickly returned to the magicians to discuss how to deal with the Scarlet Witch. Everyone knows how strong the Scarlet Witch is. Immediately prepare combat weapons. Invite all the magicians in the world. Defenses were ready. Just a few seconds later, a dark cloud carrying darkness appeared. The Scarlet Witch appeared in the middle like a demon. Strange flew up to negotiate. He was very confident in the defensive power of the magicians, but he did not expect how strong the Scarlet Witch is now. Initially, everyone used all their strength, temporarily preventing her attacks. Scarlet Witch saw that and changed tactics, starting to enter people's minds. Wong hurriedly asked everyone to be careful, but very quickly, a guy was possessed by Scarlet Witch to run to the battlefield. The defense was therefore broken. Our troops immediately attacked. This made Scarlet Witch more angry. She unleashed a blow that destroyed the defenses. Now it was no longer like a war. It was like a great massacre. Strange urged people to quickly withdraw. Those who did not have time to run were killed by Scarlet Witch. America fled indoors. Scarlet Witch entered Strange's trap. The surrounding scenery immediately changed. This is the mirror dimension. Once locked here, no one can escape. But Scarlet Witch is at another level. She shatters the dimension using reflections. Everyone understood in a hurry to cover reflective surfaces. But it was not in time because Scarlet Witch escaped from a bronze mirror. Strange uses magic to conjure snakes to attack, but they were all quickly destroyed by her. Even Wong was easily knocked out. Scarlet Witch began to siphon America's power. When falling into a critical state, America's power broke out again. Strange took the opportunity to rush to save her. For a moment, both passed through different universes, but in each universe they see other versions. Finally, landing on an Earth 838, Strange asked her to quickly take him home, but sadly she could not control her ability. All the way, the two had to look for the Strange version here. Unexpectedly, Strange in this universe was already dead. The one who welcomed him was the Illuminati. They say the Darkhold can help Scarlet Witch move her soul across the universe to take another version's body. But just mentioned here, Strange's mind suddenly reeled. It turned out that the cup of tea was drugged. At the same time, Scarlet Witch also began to move her soul to the universe where Strange was, taking over the Wanda body there. But in this place, she saw two children, making her more ambitious to own them. But while Scarlet Witch was possessing Wanda 838, in reality a magician came. The Darkhold makes Scarlet Witch unable to penetrate fully, but has to return. She angrily threw Wong aside. Using people's lives forced him to tell the secret. Wong, to save his teammates, hurriedly said, "There is a place where all dark magic is countered. That is the legendary Mount Wandagore." Immediately she forced Wong to take her there. This is the first Demon's Mountain. The universe copied his magic? Suddenly there were 4 scary monsters. Strange tricked them into serving Scarlet Witch. Perhaps they understood the Demon Queen. Strange, meanwhile, awakened in a glass cage. His hands locked, cannot use magic. The Illuminati then take him to meet their association, including 4 superheroes who have the right to decide everything in this universe. The tallest person is Professor X. They think that Strange is the danger to eliminate. It turned out that in this universe, Strange used the Darkhold, leading to a universe being completely destroyed. The Illuminati Association must carry out a death sentence. They sent Black Bolt to kill Strange. At this time, Scarlet Witch had finished her magic. She threw Wong off the rock, then began to cast a dream-walking spell, immediately possessing the Wanda body in this universe. Then she attacked the Illuminati's headquarters. The superheroes immediately stood up to battle. Professor X quickly told Strange to find the Book of Vishanti, but the Illuminati are still definitely not giving it. Moreover, Reed Richards intended to kill Strange. Outside, Scarlet Witch had breached inside. She is aiming to catch America. At this moment, 4 superheroes appeared to block the way. Black Bolt launched his voice, but turned out Scarlet Witch sealed his mouth. Only see his head exploded once and then died. Captain Carter and Captain Marvel are also easily crushed by Scarlet Witch. Coming to fight, Captain Marvel just took action. Combined with Captain Carter, they tried to fight back. Unexpectedly, Scarlet Witch threw Captain Carter's shield back. Captain Marvel used all his strength, enough energy to blow away a planet. Scarlet Witch used the Force to hit both of them, then used a statue to crush Captain Carter. Inside, Strange is still fighting with Reed Richards. Suddenly, the two fell into 2 narrow corridors. Strange took this chance to jump up and out. Outside, Scarlet Witch is coming in to kill America. Christine took a fire extinguisher to smash the door, but could not. America tried to punch one who doubted. At the right time, Professor X appeared. He invaded Scarlet Witch's mind so Wanda could regain control. Unexpectedly, Scarlet Witch was stronger, escaping and breaking his neck. Taking advantage, the 2 people ran away. Just see Strange. Now 3 people need to find the Book of Vishanti. It was the only chance to fight her. The group ran to a tunnel under the riverbed. Scarlet Witch also quickly chased closely. The pursuit caused a thrill, not letting 3 people breathe for a moment. They came to a part where everyone fell into a dead end. Out of options, Strange had to break the tunnel, temporarily stopping Scarlet Witch while he went to the book. Strange placed the broken watch on the door immediately. That is the place where Strange dreams every night, called the gap junction between universes. Strange took the Book of Vishanti, but before reading, Scarlet Witch arrived. She hit a blast, destroying the book. America, scared again, made a star portal open. Scarlet Witch conveniently threw 2 people through another world, then pushed America to the altar. Immediately afterwards, prepared for the ceremony. On this side, 2 Strange's people were taken to another universe. A universe is about to be destroyed by incursion. It is easier to understand that the 2 parallel universes are now starting to collide. Strange came to his version in this universe. Unexpectedly, this guy was using the Darkhold. Strange wanted to borrow the book to use the spell to go back to Earth to save America. Unexpectedly, the other man turned into a villain who insisted that the book not be given up. Coming to this point, the 2 had to fight. Strange uses musical notes to form weapons. The evil version also conjured musical notes. The 2 sides' fighting capacity seemed equally matched. But Strange on this side had musical notes that formed a cage. Therefore, the evil Strange flying into the musical bars died. On the other side, America woke up, now trying to use a rope to pull up. While above, Scarlet Witch is siphoning her strength. This side, Strange saw that, immediately risked using the dreamwalking magic. Accepting the book could turn himself into a bad guy. He dreamwalked into his dead variant's body in that universe, causing it to rise. Strange's death quickly reached the mountain. But the consequence of dreamwalking into a corpse is the demons in hell will try to reclaim the corpse. They turned back to attack the dreamwalker. Christine was very smart to take a magical vase, using it to trap all these souls, thereby saving Strange. This corpse was so strongly rising, capturing the evil souls to form wings to fly to the top of the mountain. Wong helped to knock down one of the 4 Gargantos monsters. Strange easily solves the remaining 3. With the Hell Souls, he seemed to be significantly stronger. The souls surrounded Scarlet Witch, making her unable to do anything. Wong took the opportunity to temporarily seal Scarlet Witch, but he couldn't hold it long. Wong said killing her is the only way, but Strange didn't think so. He saved her. He believed that America was capable of defeating Scarlet Witch. America smiled at Scarlet Witch and destroyed the seal. Only one blow flew Strange away, when America's endangered power hit a blast, directly opening a space portal. But in terms of strength, she still could not fight Scarlet Witch. America smartly portals to the 2 children. Scarlet Witch, because she wanted to take the two children, attacked their mother, causing the two children to look at her with hatred. Although she has the same appearance as their mother, they know this is not her. This made Scarlet Witch realize that she could not force things that didn't belong to her. Maternal love does not mean to appropriate. She finally woke up. Strange asked the two of them to quickly leave here. Scarlet Witch decided to destroy Mount Wundagore and die with this place, in order for no one to use the dark magic to harm people anymore. As expected, the Darkhold was also destroyed. Only Strange and Christine are left on this side. He knew that he could not lose her again and took the courage to say he loved her in every universe. After that, America also came to join the wizards, trying to learn magic to become stronger, and Strange went home to prepare to go on a date with Christine. Suddenly, his body painfully grew a third eye in his forehead. Shortly after that, a mysterious woman appeared, saying Strange has caused a multiversal incursion. He had to follow her to solve it. What do you think about these two movies? Leave your opinion below so I know. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and watch my other videos. Bye!